Hello everyone and welcome to Peterson Family Farm. Remember to click like on this video and click subscribe if you're interested in watching our vlogs. Today is a beautiful day, beautiful spring day here on the farm. I think it's a good time to have a little bit of an equipment tour. All right, we're gonna start with our air seeder. This is a Great Plains air seeder, 35 feet wide. We use this to plant soybeans as well as plant our wheat. Any of our cover crops, any of our forages, one of our most efficient pieces of equipment on the farm because it's so big, and it's also one of our newer pieces of equipment on the farm. Next we have our John Deere 9610 combine. It's one of a couple combines that we have. We just got this a couple years ago and we really like it. We really like the flotation tires on it. And this machine harvests our crops. So we're talking wheat, corn, soybeans, milo, sunflowers, our main crops. Once we harvest our crops with our combines, we need something to transport the grain. We have 3 different semi-trucks. This is the first one, and it's pulling an end-dump trailer. End-dump semi-trailers are some of our favorite pieces of equipment because it can haul grain, it can haul silage, it can haul manure, it can haul dirt, it can haul rock. Very versatile. So that's one of our end dumps. This is our new tandem truck that we got that replaced our old orange one. The orange one was a great truck and we used it for a long time, but we actually sold it to our uncle this fall. So it'll still be kind of around. It had a major repair that needed to be done, and instead of kind of doing all that ourselves, we sold it to him. We have this one now. We really like this one. We've yet to use it for too much, but just in what we've used it so far, we really like it. This is our cattle pot, is what we call it. It's just a cattle semi-trailer. It can haul about 62 head of our full-grown steers or heifers at a time. And yeah, it's what we use to transport cattle to and from the farm to pasture to the sale, home from the sale, whatever it is. That's kind of what we use it for. Here is our newest semi that we just purchased this past fall. This was to replace the semi that was totaled in a wreck that you might have seen on our other YouTube channel. We still have the trailer from the wreck. It's been fixed, it's been welded back together. So we're thankful to have replaced the truck and trailer. Now let's talk tractors. Behind me is our biggest tractor. This is our Challenger MT755. It is, I think, around 300 horsepower. And so it's a very big tractor. It can pull pretty much whatever we need it to pull. It's hooked on to our manure spreader right now, but most of the year it's hooked on to the air seeder that I mentioned earlier. This is our Kuhn manure spreader that we dump manure into. We take it out of the cattle pens and we spread it on our fields. So that's what this piece of equipment is used for right here. Our next tractor is a John Deere 7410. We've had this tractor for quite a few years now. Another really versatile tractor. It can do anything that we hook it onto except maybe pull the bigger equipment. We have it hooked onto the scraper right now, which you see behind me. The scraper is used to clean pins, it's used to blade our driveway, it's used to push snow. We use this for quite a few different things. Our next tractor is a John Deere 7130. It spends most of its time hooked up to the feed wagon here, but we also use it to move bales. We use it to pull different pieces of equipment, pull the baler, the rake, things like that. Mainly used as a kind of a cattle tractor, hauling hay bales around, feeding cattle. This tractor here is one of our oldest tractors. This is a John Deere 730, and we don't use it for a ton of things. Right now it's hooked onto the irrigation pump, but we'll use it in the summer sometimes for raking hay. We'll use it to pull the welder around, things like that. How long has this tractor been on our farm?
Brand new in 59.
Bought it brand new in 1959. What about the B?
Well, it was my uncle's.
It was your
52.
1952, so it's a little older.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. And what are you guys working on here?
The pump.
Irrigation pump. So we got a different engine to put on our irrigation pump, and we use this irrigation pump to pump water out of our lagoon in the summer to not only irrigate crops but also to keep our lagoon pumped out. Here is the John Deere B that Dad got from his uncle, and it's a 1952, so this is the oldest tractor that we have on our farm. It's hooked onto the hay trailer that we feed the cattle hay with. We got an old lawnmower seat on there. It's kind of nice. But there you go. That is the oldest tractor on our farm. This is our payloader tractor. Oh, it's looking a little dirty. I better wash it off. All right, that's better. So this is our payloader. It is a Cat.
This loader does all the dirty work for us. We load all of our feed ingredients every day, silage, hay. All right, this is our 4050. It's pretty much stays hooked onto the feed wagon through the whole year. It's our last Soundguard cab tractor on the farm, but it doesn't really matter how many hours are on your feed tractor because it does the same job over and over again. You're not like pushing its performance to the max. A little less horsepower than the other, like those IVT tractors that have already been in the video. And actually, we used to have a loader on it, but we took it off a few years ago and we haven't needed to put it on since. So.
We used to have a John Deere 4455, we used to have a John Deere 4450, we used to have a John Deere 4440. All of those tractors have been traded off. We upgraded to the IVTs that you saw earlier, like Kendall said, but we still like having this 4050. It's a power shift, really nice feeding tractor. This is our Rotomix feed wagon. It's a feed mixer, so we put all of our different feed ingredients in here, and it mixes it together, and then it puts it into the bunk for the cattle. And we use our tractors and feed wagons every day, 365 days a year, because of these guys. Ain't that right? This is kind of our backup sprayer. It was the old sprayer that we had before we have our current one. It's a Rogator 854, and we just use it as kind of a backup sprayer if our main sprayer goes down or if we need to spray an extra amount that day. This part of our farm is where we keep attachments and random pieces of equipment that we have. We've got our pallet forks, a bucket, some bale spears, got a cement mixer over here. We've even still got our square bale forks from back in the day when we used to do square bales. So every farm has that spot on it where they have the random attachments and the kind of the random pieces of equipment. Here we have a disc and a chisel back there. We don't use our tillage equipment for too much anymore, except for dirt work in the fields. We're trying to level things off. Here's our rotary mower. Over there we have a tiny little disc that we used to fill in pivot tracks. So we bought that. It's a little Land Pride disc. Over here we have some cattle panels and the panel trailer that we use to go gather cattle when they're time to be rounded up in the pasture. Over there, as Kendall drives by, you can see the stock trailer that we also use to haul livestock. Sometimes we use the cattle pot, sometimes we use the truck and trailer, sometimes we use both. Kind of depends on how many cattle we need to haul in a given day. Here we've got, this is a bale trailer that we used to haul hay bales. This is also a bale trailer, but right now we've got a bunch of junk on it. So we've got 3 of these trailers. I'll show you the third one in a little bit. This is a fuel trailer that we've had for as long as I've been around. We put a fuel tank in the back of here, and then it'll connect onto the battery of a piece of equipment, which will run the pump, and then we can pull this to the field if we need to refuel a combine or a tractor. It works pretty slick. Behind me you can see my truck. That's a 2012 F-150. Over here you can see Kendall's truck. I'm not sure, I think it's a 2012 F-150 as well. Mine's a Platinum, Kendall's an XLT. I washed mine, Kendall has not washed his. So you can still see the remnants of the mud we've had to deal with this spring. All right, behind me you can see one of the trailers that we use to carry around grain or seed when we're planting. It's got an auger on it so that we can fill the planter or the air seeder with the type of seed that we're carrying around. It's a handy little piece of equipment there. We can pull that behind one of our pickups. Up here we've got a couple augers and our silos. These augers are used to move grain from bin to feed mixer, or bin to truck, or truck to bin, as we store our grain and use it to feed cattle. This is our old manure spreader that we converted into a water trailer, so we carry water around with it. All right, in this old shed, this is another one of our old manure spreaders. We actually still use this from time to time if we want to have 2 manure spreaders going at once. This was an old silage blower. We don't use that anymore, but there it sits. And then this is another one of our irrigation pumps. Both of our irrigation pumps were homemade by my grandpa and my dad and my uncle back in the 80s and the 90s. So they've got some new engines on them, but the overall frame of the pumps still the same as we had 20, 30 years ago. So that's pretty cool. All right, this right here, we don't use anymore, but I thought I'd show it to you guys. We've kept it around the farm here just for sentiment's sake. This was an old John Deere 9900 cotton picker that my grandpa rigged up to be a dual swather, just like we have now with our bi-directional, where there's a front swather and a back swather. We had this with the swather head on the front and pulling a swather, and we used this for about 20-30 years before we bought the bi-directional and that swather. So that's kind of a cool little piece of history of equipment of our farm. All right, here we have our third semi truck and then our spray tender trailer. We got 2 tanks on here and a pump. We're still putting this rig together. We just got the trailer here this spring. And then we've got our sprayer. It's a Rogator, I think it's a 1084, I believe. Not a very common model, but. Here is Nathan's truck, which is a F250. It's actually parked here at my house because, well, he's out fertilizing wheat, and this is where the tender trailer was parked. But yeah, as you can tell, we love Fords. We've got 4 Ford trucks. We also have Dad's Dodge, which you saw earlier. I forgot to talk about it, but he's got a Dodge 3500, and so 4 Fords and 1 Dodge, no Chevys. We've never had Chevys on the farm. Sorry about it. Here at my place, we have this Lundell gravity wagon, which we pretty much just use for seed wheat and seed transfer. Here's the 930 flex head that we put on the 9610. So 30-foot long combine header. And here is our John Deere planter. It's a John Deere 1770. And we're hoping to upgrade to a 16 row here and here soon. And last year we got to use a Great Plains PL 5700, which was really fun to use. This is our hopper bottom grain trailer. Definitely not the newest grain trailer you ever see, but very functional. I'd like to paint it at some point, make it look a little bit better. But we got this for cheap about 10 years ago, and we've been using it ever since. Not nearly as versatile as the end dumps. We prefer the end dumps, but it is nice to have a hopper bottom that it's easier to use at the elevators and things like that. So pretty useful trailer. So this is my tractor that I bought from my great uncle, who my house here was where my grandma and my great uncle grew up as siblings. And so that's where Burkana and I live now. And this tractor has been on this farm for many years, quite a few decades. I don't know when he got it, but my great uncle's 98 years old. And so it's an honor for me to get to use this tractor. It is a case tractor, the only case tractor on our farm. It's a Case 930 Comfort King, little rickety, but it gets what I need to get done around here. If I need to get to work on some more major things, I borrow the tractors from the farm. But this does everything I need it to around the yard here. Here's 2 more augers that are currently at my place. That one here and that one here. Here is our second combine, a John Deere 9600. We've had this combine for probably about 10 years, and it's done really well for us. Here is our John Deere 7720. Might be kind of hard to see. This combine has been on our farm since when I was a kid. I think my dad bought it almost new. It's a 1982, somewhere in that range. And so I was born in 1990, and we had it before I was born. So it's been on our farm forever. We don't use it that much anymore. We've tried to trade it, but it's only worth a couple $1,000s on trade. And if we can use it a little bit during harvest, you know, since we don't have a grain cart, it's kind of like our grain cart. If there's an extra person there in the field, they run the 7720, but we probably won't have that set up for much longer. We're gonna try to sell this combine and get a grain cart. So here is our flex head for the 9600 that's parked here that you just saw. And then here is the header for the 7720 right here. Here is our John Deere 7430. It is currently hooked onto another one of our feed mixers. So this time of year in the spring, we're still feeding quite a bit of cattle, and so you're going to see 3 of our tractors hooked on to feed mixers. So that's kind of how it is. I really love this tractor. This is my favorite tractor that we have. We push silage with it. We do a lot of different things with it. It's a great loader tractor. Really enjoy that one. Tough to see here, but this is our international truck that we use to kind of carry around chemical totes and different things. We also have a spray tender trailer now, but this is another piece of equipment. This is actually what we pull the manure spreader around that carries water. So we kind of use it as a backup tender trailer when we're both planting and spraying at the same time. This is our New Holland TV140 bi-directional tractor. We've got some big fans of this tractor on our YouTube channel and our various social media platforms. We like this tractor. You can put a loader in the front of it and use it to, this is how we load our feed down here at my parents' house. We saw the payloader, the cat payloader at the main farm is what we use to load feed up there. We use this tractor to load feed down here during the winter, but in just a few weeks here, we will be putting the swather head back on the front of this tractor to swath alfalfa, and then we pull another swather behind it. So you'll see more of that setup in our future videos, but overall a very versatile and important piece of equipment on our farm. All right, this is another shed that's at my parents' house. Kind of call this the miscellaneous equipment shed. We can't fit any of our big stuff in here because the ceiling is low, but we've got, this is a row head that we use to pick up down crops like milo. We also use it to harvest sunflowers. And then here's the pull behind swather that we pull behind the bi-directional that I just showed you. And then there's the swather head that goes on the front of the bi-directional. So this is a New Holland 1475. So both swather heads are New Holland. This is our John Deere 567 round baler that we use to bale alfalfa, wheat straw, prairie hay, anything that we're baling to feed the cattle. We use this right here. Over here we have what we call the spray truck, and in reality it's not really, we used to, when we first adopted no-till farming back in the early 2000s, we were using this to spray. Dad rigged it up from an old F-250 pickup truck. It's kind of only used for water now. We take it to pastures when we're burning pastures. We use it a little bit just doing some spot spraying around the yard. But it's kind of another cool piece of equipment that my dad and grandpa engineered out of things they already had. So that's kind of another relic from the past. Here is our corn head. This is a John Deere 893 8-row corn head. We just started picking corn or shelling corn this past year. And so this is the first year, this will be the second year that we've owned it. All right, this trailer right here and that trailer over there are both seed wheat trailers. So we save seed wheat and then plant it again after it's been cleaned. You'll see a video on that, I'm sure, in the future. And so that's literally all they're used for. We put wheat in them in the summer, and then we clean it in the fall and plant it. Then that trailer back over there is a stock trailer. I think that's the one my dad built in high school. So that would have been in 1973. That trailer was built by my dad in shop class. So that's kind of cool. It's a little tight quarters squeezing back in there, so I won't be able to get a closer view. But again, another kind of cool, not very often used piece of equipment, but has a lot of history. All right, here we have our H&S rake. We just got this, I think it was last year. So really nice piece of equipment. It rakes windrows of hay together to help it dry and to minimize how many passes we have over our hay fields. So you'll see that in action. We've got a couple more augers here at my parents' house. We're kind of split between 3 farmsteads: my parents' house, the main farm, and then my place. And so we kind of have bins and augers at each place, kind of spread out, but that's okay. This dirt mover right here has moved a lot of dirt for us over the years. We use it to fix holes in the field where water stands. We use it to dig ditches. We use it to repair our pens where the cattle tromp a big mud hole. Picks up dirt underneath it, and you can carry the dirt and put it down somewhere else. And so yeah, this is a pretty old piece of equipment. It's been on our farm for probably 30 years, if not longer, but it still does a great job. We have to do some welding on it every once in a while, and the tires have to be replaced every once in a while, but old iron is pretty good iron. Here's my dad's other truck, the flatbed F-250 Super Duty. We call this the whistle truck because it whistles. You can hear that in some of our parodies. You can kind of hear it whistling. So pretty cool truck. It's got a bale fork on it. Kind of our main service truck. We don't have another service truck. Here's another scraper we have, another box scraper. So we've got 2 of these, and we keep this one down at my parents' house to take care of these pins here. The other one we saw earlier was up at the main farm. And then this is one more flatbed trailer we have. And we actually have another bale trailer that I can't seem to find. I think it's up at the main farm. I must have missed it, but it pretty much looks like that. Yeah, that's pretty much all of our equipment. It's been kind of fun walking around and looking at all of it. I added up the tires once on our farm, and it was at 390. That was probably 3-4 years ago. I think we're at even more now. I think it's close to 450 tires that we have to keep track of on our equipment and maintain and make sure the tires are aired up. So we could start our own tire business. But anyway, moral of the video is that we don't have the newest equipment. This YouTube channel, you're not going to find the newest of equipment, but you are going to find a really diverse amount of equipment. Because we're a cattle farm and because we're a crop farm and we do almost all of our own equipment work, we have all sorts of equipment, and most of it's used, most of it's pretty old, but it can still function, still do its job. And we think that's a pretty cool defining feature of our farm. It's the amount of equipment we have is probably more than your average farm. And so we hope you enjoy seeing this equipment in action in future videos. We hope you've enjoyed me talking a little bit about it today. And thank you for watching. Please remember to click like on the video and subscribe to our channel if you enjoy this kind of content. We'll see you next time.